Don't just get the folks who you know are going to vote. You got to find Cousin Pookie.
Mr. President, first of all, I want my cousin Pookie wants to thank you for calling his name.
You know what?
He got up and voted.
As long as Pookie's voting, then I'll accept his thanks.
Well, he voted early.
I like that.
And
because we all got a cousin Pookie who is a good person, but sometimes is not quite as attentive to his civic responsibilities as he needs to be.
It must be good news to read that early voting, particularly among African Americans, according to what I'm reading, is outpacing even 2010.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the great news is that people are taking the message seriously that midterms count. Look, Joe, this is something you know, but I just want to emphasize for your listeners. When I came into office, the economy was collapsing. We now have had 55 consecutive months of job growth. We've seen unemployment rate above 10% go down to below 6%. Childhood poverty went down last year. College attendance up. High school graduations up. We are making progress, but we've still got a lot of work to do because there are too many folks out there who haven't seen any increase in their income. They're still struggling to get by. And the reason is because we've got a Congress that, frankly, has been derelict in its duties. It does not focus on the things that would help working families, like raising the minimum wage. That helped 28 million people. Making sure that women are being paid the same as men. That helps families, not just women. Making sure that we are helping young people deal with the student debt. And I've gotten proposal after proposal before this Congress, and this Congress has failed to pass it. And this is the moment in which we can send a clear signal that we need a Congress working on behalf of working families. So I'm glad to hear Cousin Pookie early voted. The early vote turnout has been good so far. So, if you are listening and you have not yet voted, you need to go to iwillvote.com. Find out if early vote is still available in your state. If not, you've got to vote on November 4th. It'll give you all the information. iwillvote.com. And do not use as an excuse that, the president's not on the ballot or, it's a midterm or I don't know much about it. There's no excuses. Whether or not we win in North Carolina, whether or not we win in Georgia, whether or not we win in Colorado, whether or not we win in Iowa, in all these states, it all depends on turnout. And if we turn out, we will win. And if we win, that means that I, in my last 2 years in office, can work with a Congress that cares about your listeners, Joe. And if we don't have a good turnout, then we're going to have a Congress that continues with the kinds of policies that have been bad for middle-class families. So this is a real straightforward formula.
You are one president, and I'll share something this audience may not know. I know it about you, and that is, and if I mention the word, the organization Project Vote, Chicago, a young Barack Obama.
Yeah, I was really young then. You look at pictures of me back in 1992. I look like a baby.
But you knew the importance of grassroots work. This is really now ground game, isn't it?
That's all it is. Look, so much. All these millions are being spent by these billionaires to try to influence the vote. But the truth of the matter is that no matter how much money they spend, no matter how many negative ads they run, it will always be trumped by ordinary people mobilizing themselves to exercise their right to vote.
Yeah, the price tag
every single time. When we vote, good things happen. When we don't, bad things happen. In 2010, the way we got the Tea Party Congress was because our folks didn't vote, and the Tea Party did. And as a consequence, suddenly progress screeched to a halt. So we've got to be mindful of the fact that it doesn't matter how much money and how many lobbyists and all that stuff is being put out there. We take away our own power when we don't take responsibility and make sure that we're voting.
Final question, and that is the voter suppression that's going on. A lot of people that call into the show seem to get frustrated. They don't know, should I go? I don't have an ID. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. So what is your message to those people who might say, I'm confused in my particular state?
Here's what I would say. First of all, go to iwillvote.com. Get the right information. It'll tell you what you need to go vote, where you should go vote, what the hours are. Is there early voting in your state? So maybe you can go before Tuesday, November 4th. If you don't have early voting, or if the date's already passed, then what time are the polls open on November 4th, and where do you go? So you can get all that information right up front.
All right.
Now, let me just say this about voter suppression. There's no doubt that in a number of states that they've tried to put rules in place to suppress turnout, making it harder for folks to vote on Sunday, or making it having voter ID requirements or what have you. But even if you live in a state like that, the truth of the matter is 99% of the people are still going to be able to vote. And right now, less than 50% do. So there's 40% of the folks out there, or 45% of the folks out there, who are listening to you right now, Joe, who could vote. Even with all the laws that are in place, they're taking their own power away because they're not bothering voting. And the good news, as I said, is that in a lot of states you're seeing folks say, you know what, that's one more reason to vote. We saw that in 2012. You remember some of these stories down in Florida? You got these, elderly ladies, 80, 90 years old, they're putting down a lawn chair. You want me to wait 7 hours? I'll wait 7 hours just to spite you because you're telling me that you're going to make it this hard for me to vote. That's one more reason for me to vote. So don't let folks use that as an excuse. The truth of the matter is that in most jurisdictions, even where they've got laws that have made it harder, the main reason people don't vote is because they don't go to the polls. And if you go to the polls, then you will be able to vote, and you will make a difference in the life of this country and in your community. And I need people to take responsibility. Michelle and I, we travel all across the country, and everybody says, "Oh, Barack, we love you," and Michelle, we love you more, and and we're praying for you, and we appreciate that. We need prayer, but the biggest help that I can get right now is you going to the polls and voting. That's the main thing that anybody listening right now can do.
Next 2 years are critical.
Next 2 years are critical because there's so much left undone. We should be already raising the minimum wage for 28 million people. Right now, we should be rebuilding our infrastructure, putting people back to work. Right now, we should be setting up more apprenticeship programs for our young people so that they can get jobs in industry and high tech and healthcare that are opening up, but they just don't have the training for it. Right now, all that should be taking place. And the reason it's not is because I've got a Congress that's been more interested in scoring political points and blocking what I do than somebody who's trying to actually help working families. And that's got to change. And the only people who can change it are the people who are listening to your program, and everybody out there getting their friends, their family, their coworkers to go out there and vote. Right. This is one of those situations where I cannot solve the problem by myself. I can talk till I'm blue in the face to some of these folks up in Congress right now, and they will not change. But they have to listen to voters.
All right. Mr. President, we'll talk again, I'm certain.
iwillvote.com.
I'll look
Everybody
forward to it.
needs to go to that website and keep on pumping it up.
All right. Thanks for being with us. All right.